Welcome to True Colors Between the Lines. We have our cast here and we're ready to discuss an interview that we are watching together with Jan Stevenson, who is our special guest this week. If you're just tuning into us, this is the first time you've watched True Colors, we are an LGBTQ cast at Go Comedy. All of us are members of the LGBTQ community here in Metro Detroit, and we're all improvisers. Yay! We have been doing this show for about 3 or 4, well, actually, we've been doing it for what, about 2 years, Chris Fortin?
It might be, yeah, I think it's 2 years.
2 years. So we've been doing the show for about 2 years, and we just partnered with Between the Lines in 2020, and then everything fell apart and the world came to a stop. So this is our first attempt at doing this show recorded live for us, but recorded for you online. So with that, let me welcome our cast first, and they are going to introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Miranda.
Hi, Miranda.
Hi, I'm Tess Hannah.
Yes.
Hello, I'm Chris Fortin.
Hi, Chris.
Hi, I'm Heidi Sherrick.
Hi, Heidi. With that, we are going to introduce our first interview for our digital format. Jan Stevenson is the publisher of Between the Lines, and earlier I had a chance to interview her, and we're going to watch that interview together. And then at times we will stop the interview and we're going to have a chat about the things that Jan tells us about Between the Lines, about her life, about articles in the paper, and more. And then we will improvise a scene. So it should be a lot of fun. You guys ready to watch a video?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Here is our first interview. So I just want to welcome Jan Stevenson. She is the publisher of Between the Lines to join us. Thank you for joining us, Jan.
Thank you, Scott. This is fun.
Yeah, so this is obviously it's our first time doing this, going online in a digital format. And this going with Between the Lines with True Colors, we've been doing it now for I think three shows. And we tried to have you on for our last live show, but we weren't able to make it.
I know. Cooties.
But Eve was an amazing guest, I think. Yeah, so she was fantastic. And she did it before and she was great. So
Eve's wonderful.
yeah. So let's talk about Between the Lines. Between the Lines and Pride Source is one of the oldest LGBTQ publications in the country. How did you start that? What was your impetus? How did it get going?
It was an incredibly well thought out plan. Actually, I was executive director of affirmations, and I had already announced that I was going to leave that position after 5 years. So I was planning, actually, I was thinking about maybe going into teaching, because I didn't know what I was going to do when I grew up, but this wasn't in the cards. And my partner, Susan Horowitz, had moved here recently from New York, and she was sort of casting around for her next move, like what she was going to do when she was living here. And Between the Lines had just started. It was actually started by a couple of students out in Ann Arbor, and they were really struggling. And there was a wonderful woman named Shannon Rhodes who was trying to make a go of it. And I said, Susan, why don't you go meet Shannon? She's, struggling with this new paper, and I know that's your bailiwick, and you'd really like it, and maybe she could use some help. She said, okay. So they arranged to have breakfast. So she came back from breakfast. I said, how'd it go? And she said, really good. I bought the paper. And I said, you did? I thought you were buying breakfast. She said, no, I thought I'd buy the paper. And so I said, okay, well, maybe I can help out with that a little bit. So that's how it started. It really was totally serendipity.
Wow. So and you guys have and that you've been together all the time, and you've done the paper for how many years is it?
We're in our 27th year. Susan and I work together, and we're married. So we say, since we work together, we get 3 times the credit. So we've really been married 75 years.
Okay. That's awesome. It's also great that you can do something with your wife, with someone, with your partner.
Yeah, we spend a lot of time together.
And so for Between the Lines, how many print papers do you put out each week, and how many digital subscribers do you have?
We put out somewhere between 13 to 15,000 print publications. It depends on if it's a special issue or not. And then we did up until this year, Pride Month, we basically doubled our publications schedule because there were so many events and it was like our Christmas,
Mhm.
So online, we have anywhere from 35 to 50,000 unique visitors a week. And most of them, from what we can tell from the URLs and the analysis, almost all of them are in Michigan. And it tends to be far more scattered across the state than the print publication distribution, which we've really focused more in southeastern Michigan for a variety of reasons. It's easier for us. It's less expensive, and the internet has been able to service a lot more of the outstate. So we don't have to drive the big gay van out there anymore.
All the way up to Escanaba.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So we paused right there after the big gay van going up to Escanaba, right? So I thought that was fascinating, guys, to hear the history of how Between the Lines came to be. I moved to Michigan in 1996. And when I first moved to Michigan, I remember Between the Lines being a monthly publication. When's the first time you guys found Between the Lines or read it or heard about it?
I don't think I was really aware of Between the Lines until moving to Ferndale. And then whenever I would go get a bagel every Sunday morning, where I would see Scotty because he lives down the street from me,
Yeah.
I would pick up a bagel and then a Between the Lines. And I was like, oh, Ferndale is a nice gay city. This is good.
I first became aware of Between the Lines actually when I was at affirmations for the 2008 presidential election, like watching the votes come back. And I ended up being on the cover the next week. So
you were on the cover?
Yeah, we all, like the whole room was, because we were all like, we were so excited about the results. And then we all ran out of affirmations into the street screaming excitedly because Barack Obama had just been elected. So
You still have that?
Remember those times, guys?
I do.
Remember that?
Aw.
I know.
Remember when politics was good?
Remember so long ago. I think
I lived in Michigan for like a year, and I think it was actually this show that made me aware of the Between the Lines.
wow.
So that's pretty cool.
Yep,
So
and
young.
I'm just a little bit before Miranda too. I moved to Michigan in August of 2016, and it wasn't until I started to go comedy and work with True Colors, or actually I think I saw one when I first went to the Detroit Comedy Festival, or in the racks there at Go, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is a great publication, and showed my partner, and so yes, it was Ferndale. And I agree, Chris, what a great community.
Yay. So she has been with her partner for 27 years, obviously longer than that, because they do this together, which I think is amazing that they are able to do a job. Like they both have this thing and they do their job together with your husband or your wife or your whatever. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like that would just lead to murder, like to be married and also work together. That's you need a separate thing.
Either murder or like the most tight-knit, perfect relationship.
COVID-19 is causing my partner and I to be not only cohabitants but co-workers, right? Because we are sheltering in place, and May 9th is our 15-year anniversary, and I'm praying we make it to May 9th, because she's a complete introvert and I'm a complete extrovert, and I feel like I'm Anna, like, do you want to build a snowman? I'm outside the office door knocking, saying, can we talk? Can we play? Can we do something? And she's like, please leave me alone. And I cannot imagine like what a robust relationship that they have been able to work together for 27 years. I was envious of that.
Me too, absolutely.
Yeah.
This sounds like the start of a scene. So with that, I'm going to leave you guys to do a scene based on the things we've talked about so far. And things you maybe you saw in the video. So I'm going to say, and go.
All right, fine. No, what is it? What is it?
I mean, you leave for breakfast.
Yeah.
I understand. You leave for breakfast and you come back with a friend. I mean, no, don't walk away, young lady, come back here. You can't just walk into the other room.
No, it's just ignore her, okay? It was a working breakfast. We only talked through the window, so it's fine, okay? Please, we have to get back to work. If we can just schedule some playtime later, that would be great.
Oh.
Like I'm not here. Act like I'm not here.
Just act like she doesn't even exist, okay?
So did you define work time and playtime with your new little friend too?
You know, we're still figuring out roles and responsibilities, but I can send you the meeting minutes from our action items this morning. I just really appreciate it if I could have the room again. So I promise we'll have a lunch, you know, maybe, you know, we can loop back to this in the afternoon, but we've got a lot to hammer out. I
understand us and I know our charter. I get it. I'm just curious about your charter because I just don't know I think if I look back to, you know, Section 17, Article 3, point B, if I need to bring it up again in April.
You don't need to bring up point B again. We've gone over it. Listen, I signed the NDA, okay? I cannot tell you a single thing about this. We have a memorandum of understanding.
Can you tell me about point B? Do I need to know about point B?
Just what I thought. Thank you very much.
I did not share point. Okay, fine. All right, Elizabeth, can you just share point B?
I didn't hear anything about point B.
Oh, did you just Elizabeth me?
I did just Elizabeth you, yes.
In the other room.
Oh, that's what? Okay, all right. I'm so sorry about her. It's, you know, it's been real tough. We've been together for a very long time.
Sure.
Yeah. She's gonna murder me. That's what Section B is. She's gonna murder me.
Oh.
Scene.
Oh.
Yay. You know, murder. It seems like murder's on our mind right now, Chris.
Oh no. Listen, it's either me or my cats. Not everyone's getting out of quarantine.
Not the cats.
Oh, they murder me. It's fine.
I'm okay with you getting murdered.
And when you bring the cats into it, that's serious.
Oh yeah, no, I would deserve it at that point.
Oh well, guys, let's go and watch the second part of this, the second segment of this video with Jan, and we'll be back after that. So let's talk about we're recording this the week of April 27th, and so let's talk about the issue that's out right now. The cover story is on the Ruth Ellis Center, which is a wonderful organization in Detroit.
Yeah.
Can you tell our audience and tell us a little bit more about the Ruth Ellis Center, and how has Between the Lines been both, I know that you've done a lot of things with the paper and the Ruth Ellis Center. How has that impacted the paper and the Ruth Ellis Center? What have you guys done together?
Well, Ruth Ellis Center is just a gem of an organization to have here in Detroit. Actually, nationally, youth service providers look to Ruth Ellis for leadership. Jerry Cunningham and his team, Jerry Peterson and his team down there have been an incredible asset to the local community. They're doing a variety of things. They started out as a drop-in center for homeless LGBT youth. And then they expanded to actually providing housing. They had a couple of houses, and they were able to provide relief housing for like 12 to 15 youth. They're now in the process of expanding that to a full 50-unit apartment complex that they're actually building from scratch. And they're doing that through HUD funding and a lot of other federal funding. And they've also partnered with Henry Ford Health System and set up an entire health organization within Ruth Ellis that's providing primary care to youth in the area who otherwise have no access to any kind of health services. And one of the things about Between the Lines, a little different than some other LGBT publications is both Susan and I come from an activist background. So we're activist publishers. And some of the publications were started by people who had more of a journalism background, and they're journalists doing a gay paper. So ours is a little bit of a different focus. We're very committed and involved to supporting as many of the LGBTQ organizations in the state as we can, in various ways, sponsoring events, helping them with advertising, helping them promote their events and their programs, and just trying to make sure that the work that they're doing is being noticed and taken note of by potential supporters and funders or whoever else we can get to drag in there to make connections with.
So, Jan, have you ever been arrested for your activism?
I haven't, but I can't really speak for my wife. She was in New York, and she was quite a rabble rouser when she was in New York. Actually, one of our staff members, Kevin Bryant, who's our IT guy, he was in New York one time. And he was at a place in Chelsea having lunch, and he got to talking with the waiter and said he was from Detroit, and and Susan's name came up, and he goes, "Oh yeah, she's part of the Lesbian Mafia. Yeah, we know who she is."
Well, then you had to start a paper, right?
We had to. Yeah, she chained herself to the cathedral in New York when they banned condoms and all kinds of stuff.
Wow. And so now we're back after that segment. Jan, I really thought maybe Jan would get arrested. When she was telling me that, I really thought that maybe she had been arrested, but it wasn't her. It was her wife, Susan. That's kind of crazy.
And now she's known for being part of the Lesbian Mafia, which I love.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a delicious description of a well-connected group of strong, badass women that I want to know.
Honestly, want list or aspiration, right? Like what are you gonna do? What do you want to do tomorrow? It's like,
right?
When I grow up, Lesbian Mafia, right there.
Yeah.
Guys, right away, we have to. Let's see a scene. All right, here we go.
All right, boss. You made it to the top. You're at the head of the Lesbian Mafia. I mean, what's next for you?
I don't know, I feel like I got it made right here, and I don't know, I got so much power. I don't want to give it up,
No way.
If I step away from the mafia, from this thing we built, then I'm nothing. It's my whole identity now.
You got an army of strong, independent women in Subarus ready to follow your every wish and command.
Oh yeah, this group of rabble rousers that I have out there putting their faces on cameras on the TV saying, listen, the Lesbian Mafia won't tolerate all of this. It's the biggest gift I could give to society,
Waiters in New York whisper your name with trepidation.
You don't get to the top of the Lesbian Mafia without doing a few things that maybe you don't want to talk about so much. Instilling a little fear, ruining some marriages, I don't know,
Whoa. Boss, look, you're my idol, and I never see any wrong in anything you ever do. But oh man, would I love to hear your ladder to success story.
Listen. You don't start in Escanaba and end up in Manhattan, okay, without breaking some hearts. And like I said, I've been arrested. I got a rap sheet, but I never ratted out any of my sisters in the mafia, okay? I did my time. Maybe there was some indiscretions in the bedroom, but I'm just saying. I never named names, okay? You zip the lip, you don't name names, you could rise too, okay?
Oh, boss, my lips are sealed, unless otherwise necessary for all that heartbreaking you were talking about.
Well, okay. I mean, just don't be so obvious about your desires to be the next head of the lesbian mafioso, okay? There's a lot of ways to get here, but it's not through these lips, okay? You know.
Oh, okay. I do. I have your name tattooed on my back.
Oh, wow.
Is that maybe too obvious, or
Yeah, that's I know, maybe there are rumors that I branded some people along the way. I didn't do that, okay? People
No,
choose
this
their
was
brands. That's
totally my choice. A complete act of admiration
Right.
towards you, boss.
wow. I mean, that does get you some points. That's, I guess you should know that. This is how to get some points with me, I guess. But I didn't say that if anybody asked, okay?
Oh no,
Okay.
no way, boss.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, I'll get all kinds of brands if it gets me in your good graces. Oh
Wow.
boy, you're my idol.
Wow. Listen, kid, it's real cute. It's real cute the way you admire me. It's real cute. There's something you can do for me. There's something you can do.
Anything, boss.
I need you to go down to Times Square and get on the Today Show, okay? Really mess it up. Mess up that crowd.
You got it.
And tell them that the Lesbian Mafia sent you, that they're in charge and they're taking over. I want to really mess with their minds over there.
Are we talking
Okay.
like violent statements, or more of like racy eye-catching stuff, or like, I don't know, peaceful declarations? I can do all three. I can go from
Scene. Yay. Like, what would the lesbian mafia do if they were to take over the Today Show? I mean, really. We don't know.
I don't know. I feel like I can't talk about the lesbian mafia at all.
Yes. That would seem probably not the best idea, right? Awesome. Let's go to the next segment with Jan in our interview. Another story this week is about how you have an interesting story about how Americans are becoming more okay with small businesses being able to deny services to LGBTQ.
I know, pisses me off.
Yeah. So like, at first I read the headline and I thought, well, that really sucks. And then I read through the article a little bit more, and it's a majority of Americans still think it's wrong for a small business to be able to discriminate against an LGBTQ person.
Right.
But the percentage has dropped of the number of people. So what's up with that?
Yeah. Well, I think a couple of things. First of all, we do the Wedding Expo. We've done the Wedding Expo
That's
now
right.
for 11 or 12 years. And it's really been an incredible learning experience for us about an industry that I didn't really know a lot about before, because I've never been married, and wedding gowns and that kind of thing are not something I think about on a regular basis. But when marriage became legal in our community, it became a very hot topic for people to get connected with people who were supportive. And one of the things that first happened when marriage became, like the cake people and the dress, they were, and in some ways, the first people to say, well, we don't have to do gay people. So it's really been wonderful getting to know the vendors, because we have about 100 vendors that have come to the Wedding Expo, anywhere from 100 110 each year. And it's been a different group. We've had some people that have been there forever, come every year, and we have then we kind of have new people, and they're always astonished that people would discriminate against gay people. They say, it's business. Why would we not want to be able to do business with somebody? And it mystifies people who are thoughtful about it. But there are people who, for one reason or another, they just feel like, somehow we're going to contaminate their business if they sell us a cake. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to reason through it, but I think also we've been able to educate some of the businesses in the greater Detroit area, well, in Michigan and particularly greater Detroit area. And we make a point of making sure that they know we really appreciate their support of the gay community, and that the gay community supports them in response. Because that's what's going to make it change.
It makes sense, and I love the fact that you guys do have the your wedding expo. Like that's the other thing that I never understood about this whole situation either, is because if you know that there's a bakery that is not going to sell you a cake, outside of making a statement, why would you go to that bakery and not go to the LGBTQ supportive bakery down the street? Unless you're in a town where there's one bakery and that's it.
Yeah.
You know, but like if I know, I would rather spend my money on someone or with someone who is going to be supportive and like and embrace my husband and I in our community.
Well, you know, that's what you just said is the reason why Between the Lines has been as successful as we have been, because our readers get it. They know that you don't have to go to someone who's going to say no. We've got a list of people who are dying to do business with you. So
right.
You know, why make it hard? You know?
So we're back. So that talking about gay weddings, and the first part of that was that I guess there's more people that are willing to let businesses discriminate against LGBTQ people now than before, which blows my mind. But it's so interesting. I had totally forgotten that that Between the Lines does this wedding expo, which is actually kind of cool.
I wish I would have known that. This really hit home for me. So I told you that Aaron and I are celebrating our 15-year anniversary next Saturday. We also had our wedding planned for next Saturday. However, it has to be postponed now. Dan,
no.
Right. And being, over 50 and overweight and a lesbian, it is not easy to find what you're going to wear for a wedding. And so I, in early March, went into a David's bridal like a fool. And oh my God, it was one of the most horrendous activities I've ever done. I was nervous to do it. And of course I walk in and they're like, Mary Kate, Mary Pat, Mary Ellen, we have people. And I think they thought I was Aaron's mom. And so like, hello, when's the big day? Who's the bride? And we're like, we're both the bride. We're marrying each other. And then it was like, oh. And I'm like, and I'm looking for a pantsuit and I want a cape like Melissa McCarthy wore on the Grammys last year. And then they were like, and anyway, I was not a good fit for David's bridal, and I wish I would have known that there was a gay wedding expo.
Well, there you go. Now you know that they've got a whole list. They do a great job of like listing LGBTQ like businesses, which is one of the things I thought was interesting. And it's like, why would someone go to a place that doesn't want to do business with you?
Right. Yeah.
I liked.
She talked about cake people too.
Cake people.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, bitter rivalry between the cake people and the dress people.
Yes.
What the most important part of the day is.
Yeah.
I think with all of this, there's a scene there. Let's see where we go. Here we go.
Look here, Daniel. It's the cake's time to shine, all right? So back off with your frilly sleeves and let this beautiful frosting speak for itself.
Do you know why people like cakes, Rebecca? It's because they look like dresses. That's the only reason people, that's right. When you see a big, beautiful tiered wedding cake, it just reminds you of a bunch of gossamer blossoming off of a beautiful bride. Oh, you cake people disgust me.
Oh, Daniel, who are you to say that a cake looks like a dress when in fact it's the other way around? Cakes have been around since the beginning of time.
Oh, do you know what God was wearing when he made the world? A robe, which is just a simple gown. That's right. I sell gay wedding dresses and I'm a devout Christian.
Count on you to cut corners to make your point. There are no corners on a round wedding cake, and I never cut them.
A round cake. Even I know that's old hat. Why, yes, the last wedding I went to, one was shaped like a fish. One was shaped like a pie, but was actually a cake. I hated them both, but I appreciated the artistry.
Cake cake artistry will always be far superior than that ridiculous thing you do with your sewing machines and needles. I dare you to once try to craft a fondant rose.
Oh, I'll do you one better. My next dress to be revealed is in fact a cake. That's right. We've done a coalition with the companies that make those big cakes that strippers come out of.
Wait a minute, you're on the cake dress project too?
Wait, hold on now, Rebecca. You're telling me you're the cake producer for the cake dress committee?
You're the dressmaker for the cake dress committee?
Oh no, I've been slowly falling in love with the cake producer of the cake dress committee over this last year.
And I with the dress producer. We've only communicated via email, and yet
we never searched the signature for a name.
Scene! Yay. And so many of these, doing it this way, so many of these things seem like they're like cliffhangers. Tune in next week.
Will those two people fall in love?
Will they fall in love?
work it out.
Will it be a success? Who knows?
For the record, I do want to say that I love cake. I don't want it to get mixed in the signals. But yeah, cake is amazing. So,
of course.
Oh, and Heidi, kudos on picking a cape. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Heck
Well,
yeah.
I mean, it's Melissa McCarthy, right? She wore it last February at the Grammys, and I was like, that is what I want to wear. I want a pantsuit, but I want a cape. I don't need any fancy headdress. I need a cape.
Yeah.
And so we did get a pantsuit, and then I have a coworker that is sewing a cape on whenever the date now happens. We were supposed to get married in San Diego next Saturday.
Oh,
there's the picture. Tess, Tess, I'll have to look for that. We'll edit it in post. So you guys, so you are officially like postponing your wedding until you
but we don't, because I mean we had a wedding in San Diego with just 25 family members and then a reception in Montana on July 3rd. So right now we're like, well, we can exchange our vows and do a wedding July 3rd, but now we're not putting a whole lot of emotional capital around that because we have grieved around May 9th a little, not just a little. It's been hard. It was really hard even like making the decision as March 15th and then April 1st. And then we're like, we've got to let it go. And so then, and obviously now where we are, we're like, of course, we're not going to go to San Diego, but we didn't know leading up to it. And, you know, you've done so much planning and we had DJ and photographer and menu. And even though there was only 25 of us, we had done all the work for it. And so now we have the same thing for July 3rd, but we're like, probably it's not going to happen. Probably when it happens, it happens. And then the other thing is like our anniversary. I mean, like any other couple, we celebrate May 9th every year. So we're like, July 3rd isn't our anniversary. May 9th is our anniversary.
Yeah.
We're married on May 9th. And so it's a dilemma. It's hard.
You know, guys, I'm going to call an audible. We're going to do another one. This makes me think like dates and all that stuff. So I'm going to call another scene. So let's see another scene from this conversation and go.
I mean, I just think you're doing the math incorrectly.
Okay.
We started dating.
It's not the first date. It's the first, like, who was interested in who and when did we contact each other? Because that's when like I stopped all contact with everyone else. I mean, that's it. That was the commitment. That's when we moved forward.
I received your first real email from your real email account in January, okay? So I just don't recognize this December date you've randomly chosen just because we like messaged. That's not the date.
It was the best holiday season of my life. I was like dancing around. That meant nothing to you?
No,
No.
it was a wonderful holiday season. I especially remember the way that you played Hark the Herald Angels Sing for me. It was so romantic. But we were not exclusive.
So we, I mean, I just think like if we're picking an anniversary date, it's not it picks you. You don't pick it. And so I do think that December 17th is just so much more magical than like January 8th. There's so much roundness to that. That is who
I know. The roundness makes me think of our love, and our love is a circle, and a circle has no end.
Okay, so
Where
Mariah,
are the circles on the 17th?
here's the deal. I feel so much guilt around that second week of January. I've usually always like gone through my like New Year's resolution. Like it sucks. It's not a good time. Whereas December 17th, you're like leaning into the holidays. You're coming out of like it's just a glorious time. There's like snowflakes and frolic and the mood. Like think of this is our anniversary. This is stamped.
Okay. Fine. If we went back into our text messages and we saw how magical our texts were on the 17th, that's fine. That's fine, babe. You're right. It can choose us. If I'm making a concession about the date, then I want you to agree that our first dance as a married couple is going to be to Hark the Herald Angels Sing.
With a May wedding, I just don't. Oh yes, dear, yes.
I just think if we're hearkening those heralding angels to sing for us, that our friends and family would really appreciate that. Okay, what is more beautiful than angels singing for two people in love?
You are so right. Yes, I love our first dance with the angels. Yes.
Thank you.
Scene. Yay! We're back. I would love to go to a wedding where Hark the Herald Angels sing was the first day.
Can you imagine?
All right, let's watch our last part of this interview with Jan Stevenson, and we'll be right back. What do you see in Between the Line and Pride Source's future? I mean, coming out of this situation, businesses are going to be reaching out to people. I mean, we are all going to have to jump in, not only as the LGBTQ community, but as all of Michigan, as our own communities, to support our businesses and to support our neighborhoods and support our friends and family and our community. How do you see Between the Lines coming out of this? How do you see your future with that? It's a loaded question.
Yeah, I don't know. I think though that obviously we're talking to our advertisers to see where they are. I think it's going to be an uneven road ahead in terms of which industries come first, and what is the restaurant community going to do, and what's the theater community going to do. Theater community is a huge source of revenue for Between the Lines. We've always loved the theater, and the theater's loved us, so we're worried about that part of it. But I think that we're really focused, at least in 2020, on the election, and we're working really hard on getting the voter guide up and running and expanding it. We were working on that before this happened, so we've been able to continue to work on that in the last month, getting some of the software ready for it.
Here in Michigan, we have an election coming up May 5th, right? Or the first Tuesday in May. I don't even know what it's about.
Yeah, most of that's really, really local. Our first really a big election, whatever, is going to be the primary in August, right? And then of course the November election. And we're very focused on like John Hoadley's campaign to get elected to Congress. He'd be the first gay person from Michigan to serve in Congress. And there's a lot of really good candidates that are running for state house that we'd love to flip the house in Michigan.
Right.
And, Gary Peters, and obviously we got to get rid of Trump head.
How much of the fall in the support for businesses being not the support for businesses to not discriminate against LGBTQ people, how much do you think Trumpism has had an impact on that?
I think it's made them a lot more vocal, and it's crystallized the issue for a lot of businesses. Like just recently with the Fair and Equal campaign that unfortunately is, working on getting the signatures, and then this happened. So then what do you do? But all three of the big three came out with strong support for the Fair and Equal, amending the Elliott Larson in this cycle. And I think that there's a lot of it. What it always astonishes me when I talk to people and they go, "Really, you're allowed to discriminate against gay people?" It's like, people who are just living a life and not thinking about it don't realize that it's illegal to discriminate, and they're kind of appalled at that. So a lot of it is just getting the word out, because I think that there's more good people than people who smoke their socks on a regular basis. So,
never heard that term.
So. I really believe that when people know what's going on, they kind of go, this makes no sense, because everybody knows somebody who's gay. And it's not like it used to be, 50 years ago when it was like they were Martians, everybody knows somebody. And it's like, why would you be mean to my friend? I don't see why you'd be mean to my friend. And
well, Jan, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me and to talk with our audience. I really appreciate it. Is there anything else that you want to share? Anything that's coming up? That Between the Lines is going to be covering? Obviously, you mentioned the election. Is there anything else that's coming up that we should know about or look forward to?
I wish there were more events, but a lot of the events have been canceled. We're working.
Pride is gone. Yeah,
I know. We're working on trying to figure out what's going on with Pride. I know most of it has been canceled or postponed, so that's okay. We'll figure something out. And I really appreciate you, Scott, and I love Go Comedy, and thanks for including us. And you're the best.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
And we're back out of that segment. I don't know about you guys. I have never heard the term "smoke their socks" before.
No,
has anyone ever heard that?
No, I wasn't clear from the context because it sounds derogatory, but I don't know.
What does it even do? You
someone who smokes their sock
they're
on a
dummies.
regular basis?
Like they're
It
dummies?
makes them stupid, I think.
Maybe.
I don't
It
know.
does sound like a dumb thing to do to
Yeah.
me, but
So weird.
Is it like a drug use that we don't know? Like, oh, those middle
Socks
schoolers
is
keep
like-
smoking their socks.
Only a dum-dum would smoke their socks and think it's drugs.
Yeah,
I thought it
okay.
was like
That's true.
you were trying to dry your socks, but you dry them too much, and so then they start smoking. So then it gets it too hot. Like
Ah.
if
Or
yeah.
or you're trying to dry them by putting them in a smoker.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's what I was like putting them next to the fire. And so, like back on the ranch where you put your
Oh.
feet next to the fire and then you're smoking your socks because you're getting way too hot. I don't know.
Yeah.
that tracks.
Yeah. I mean, no matter what, it's not flattering, I guess.
Right.
So.
And no matter what, there's a scene in here. So so here we go. Another scene, and go.
Your socks are smoking, Dad. Quick!
Oh, I'm sorry. Get it. Geez. Girls, I'm so sorry. I done it
Chocolate
again.
Dad.
Jeez. Oh, I knew I should have brought your mom on this camping trip. I just can't stop getting my ankles up in my ears.
That's what Mama always says about you.
Yeah.
You smoke
Ugh.
your socks, you got your ankles where your ears should be, and you always put your pants on backwards.
Yeah, 2 legs at a time
Like a hat.
backwards. Yeah. I'm always putting them 2 legs at a time backwards as a hat. Oh gosh, you girls. Geez. I mean, I'm just as kerfuffled as a crawdad. I don't know what to do. I think you two are gonna have to adopt me.
Oh, Pa, look, I think there's hope for you still. You just gotta be more cognizant.
I'm about as cognizant as a yellow Gatorade when someone ordered a nitro blue, and you know what that means in the house.
Yeah, it's just like that, Pa. It really is. It's like when you got salt in your flower beds. It's just like that. It's just a disappointment and confusion and a conglomeration altogether.
Ain't no flowers gonna grow if there's salt.
No, it's gonna be all salted. It's just I'm a whole Tippecanoe and Kennedy too over here. I think you two just legally, girls, you're you know, if you combine your ages, you're 18. I think you can be the adult of the house.
Dad, I don't think we need any official papers to be your caretaker.
Oh,
We'll always be there when you're smoking your socks, when you're shaving your beard with a toothbrush.
oof. That one wasn't a euphemism. That was a.
No, that actually happened.
Yeah, that one did not work. Well,
This morning.
But you know,
Well, we explored the smoking of the socks, right?
Yeah.
Why not?
it really drilled into that one.
And
We
many
drilled into-
other potentially fake sayings.
I thought that last segment too was interesting because she was talking about the upcoming elections, and one of the things that they do is have that election guide. I know with the last election, I took the guide in with me to go make my choices. Not this last one that was in March, but the main one in November. But how many elections do we have? Right?
Yeah, I did not know. Like, I was writing down dates. I was like, oh, these seem important. Then we have one on May 5th. And then what's the primary in August? What do we have before? I didn't know that.
I thought we already had a primary in March. What's the one in August? I think the one in August is where we choose the people that are going to run in the state elections.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Like-
but yeah,
like-
I didn't know we have a man running that could be the first gay congressman from Michigan. Like,
Or
I did not know
apparently.
that either.
yeah.
So cool.
Very cool. Let's do one last scene, guys. Anything that we've talked about so far is fair game up to this point. And go.
What a day, am I right?
I mean, here's the thing.
Oh, dish.
I know. I overheard him at the water cooler saying that it ain't right to discriminate.
Oh, I don't. Wait,
Mhm.
hold on.
Yeah.
Are we not supposed to? It's legal. So I mean, I assumed it was okay.
I was shocked. I mean, taken aback.
Well, I mean, laws are right. That's why they're laws. You're saying, wait, hold on. When we fired Rebecca for being a lesbian, that was allowed, but was it wrong?
I mean, it was Rebecca.
I mean,
Right.
it was Rebecca.
Yeah, I mean, and here's the thing. I see the stuff on the TV. And,
Oh.
you know, with the whole weddings thing and the businesses and
Hey there, Mark, Kathy. Good to see you too. Now, I know you may have heard we got in a little trouble for discrimination, and I just wanted to reintroduce you to Rebecca, who we're bringing back because we really weren't allowed to do that. It was bad. You guys remember Rebecca?
Yes, of course. Rebecca, hello.
oh, hi,
Rebecca,
Rebecca.
You look lovely
Hey.
today. I'm sorry, can I say that? I don't.
Thank you. Watch the sexual harassment, okay?
Oh God.
We missed you.
I mean,
Can we express
Wow.
that? I mean,
Wow. Wow. Now it sounds like stalking.
it was just it was different here without you. That's a fact.
Wow, that sounds some kind of discrimination I haven't discovered, but have definitely experienced.
No, Rebecca, there's some cake in the break room. I know it's not a gay wedding cake, but maybe you would still. Well, no, I just assume.
I have diabetes, and I don't appreciate you tempting me with the sugar that could actually kill me. Wow.
We cut them into fair and equal pieces. We're all about fairness and equality now. We're really working on all of this.
You know,
yeah, I don't want to be a guinea pig. Okay, I don't want to be a guinea pig.
They happen to be my very favorite pet. I mean, when I was younger, I had a little guinea pig named Mickey, and I loved that guinea pig like you wouldn't believe.
I know. I also have known the love of the beloved rodent, the guinea pig. I actually breed them.
Well,
What?
I have a dozen guinea pigs at home. They're my children essentially. Yeah.
I
Oh my
also own guinea pigs.
What? Oh God,
What?
Rebecca, it's like you're not any different from us at all.
You're just like us.
Yeah, that's what I've been telling you I've been trying to tell you this whole time. We're the same.
Oh, we should celebrate with a big piece of cake, all of us. It'll just be so beautiful. Oh, I did it again.
Same. Yay! Oh, that was fun. That was awesome. You guys were fantastic. Well, that is going to bring our first digital episode of True Colors Between the Lines to an end. Thank you guys so much for joining us here on Did You Go at gocomedy.net and on our YouTube channel. Once again, our cast was, we'll start, I don't know how you guys are showing up on the screen right now, so I'm going to spotlight you and you can remind everybody who you are.
Chris Fortin.
Heidi Sherrick.
Miranda Fife.
Tess Hannah.
And I have been Scott Myers, your host for this. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you to all of our cast for joining us. And we will have another one of these, we're going to say next month. So we'll plan on that.
Sure.
And thank you very much. And follow gocomedy.net for more digital shows. Have a great day or night or afternoon or morning, whenever you're watching. We love you. Yay.
Hey.